If you feel like you are constantly behind your goals, you can't keep up for your deadlines, tasks are piling up in your hands, and you feel like you literally don't have time for nothing, this video is for you. Now, if you're watching my channel, then you know that the excuse of I don't have time is only an excuse. But to be very honest with you, sometimes it just doesn't feel like that. When you're behind your tasks and behind your goals, you feel like you can't keep up with anything. And that situation is very, very frustrating and stressful. I don't know if you have this feeling, but sometimes it feels like you're doing a lot of work. You're trying to go to the gym, you're trying to keep up with the business stuff that you have, you're trying to keep up with the school, but what happens is you feel like you're not making progress that you want. And personally, I have lived through that for a long time. I'm a student who's trying to build his business, a YouTube channel, as well as trying to stay in shape and build his dream physique. And sometimes, even though I try to give my best, it feels like my best is not enough. And I know that I'm coping here, I'm saying that I'm giving my best. In reality, I'm just not giving my best. But sometimes it is very difficult to manage all of these things at the same time. Now, here is how to take back control of your life. You need a personalized productivity system that covers all aspects of your life. Something that's going to be literally your second brain, so that you don't have to think about whether you have forgot a couple of tasks or not. And from my teeny tiny experience, there should be these 5 stable tools in your personal productivity system. In this video, I'm going to be explaining you guys how I use those 5 tools in my personal productivity system in digital life and how I do that in Xstyles. And no worries, I'll be showing you how you can download all of these templates and use them for yourself for free as well. Number 1, the weekly planner. Now, it all begins with a plan that's not just right here, but also right here on your computer, on your notebook. If I don't have an overview of what I have to do throughout that week, I kind of feel aimless. I feel like I don't know what's coming up in my life. I feel like even though I might be working the same hours, I will feel like I have no control over things. Now, this is how my essentially weekly planner looks like in Xstyles. I don't use this as I'm gonna write down 25 tasks for every single day. As you can see, it's more like 2 to 3 tasks every single day. And the main reason for this is because I don't use myself like a huge to-do list. It's more like the main things that I gotta get done that day, and that's what I care about. So as you can see, Monday, coaching goes from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m, gym with the boys, 4 hours of work for Agent Called AI and stuff like this. And this gives you a very nice overview of what you have to do in the next 1 week, and you know what's coming up essentially in your life. Number 2, a solid habit tracker. It doesn't really matter how you track your habits. It depends on your personality a lot. In the first 2 years of my self-improvement journey, all I did was simply my notebook. And then right after that, I got into, writing those things down on my walls. And then right after that, I actually got into fully doing it digitally, simply because I like having all of these different things, all of these different tools in one go, which is more simple. Now, when we go to the habit tracker in Xstyles, what happens is I'm currently focusing on 4 habits right now. And as I'm filming this video, today is actually a Friday. And that's why I have all these Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday days checked in. And the habits that I'm currently focusing on are mostly meditation, reading, Kegel, and I'm not going to explain Kegel. If you know, you know, and cardio. These 4 things are essentially the things that I'm focusing on right now. And Xstyles, you can do your habit tracking as well. Now, stable tool number 3 is going to be the Eisenhower Matrix. Now, you probably heard about to-do lists, right? To-do lists are a list where you write down all the tasks you got to get done. The problem is that's the entry level of productivity, the entry level of getting things done. And the problem with the entry level is obviously it's not as organized and as effective as other stuff that you can do. So the Eisenhower Matrix basically is a to-do list that is much more developed. Now, this is how the Eisenhower Matrix looks like essentially in Xstyles. Now, the reason why I think an Eisenhower Matrix is much more powerful than a to-do list is because simply you can have stuff that you do, you can have stuff that you schedule, delegate, eliminate. Personally, I run a business. I have other people in the team that I'm working with, and I have to delegate a lot of the stuff that I have. One of the main reasons why you're not as productive as you want to be is because you are busy with the tasks that you probably should not be busy with. Especially in business, there are probably tasks that you are doing that you don't have to be doing. That's why you can just simply eliminate them, and that is something that you can do in the Eisenhower Matrix as well. 4, a 3-month plan. Now, my friends, when you're setting goals, probably you set to yourself yearly goals and maybe monthly goals, maybe weekly goals. One thing that I don't think a lot of people are doing, which I'm a big fan of, is setting down essentially 3-month goals. I look at my life in quarters, more in seasons. I call it a season. 90 days, a season of growing my channel, a season of growing my business, a season of focusing on my fitness. In a year, a lot of things change. And as a lot of things change, your life changes and maybe you have different goals. That's why I like to go more in terms terms of like 3 months, because you know that in the next 3 months, you can give your all into one goal that you have. Now, as you can see on my X Styles, it's Friday at 10 p.m. as I'm recording this video, and I should be going to sleep soon because I'm a baby who goes to bed at like 10:30 and wakes up at 5:30. Now, I think every single person should decide which season of life they are in. And personally, this season of my life, starting from March all the way to at the end of May, and probably much longer than that, is going to be essentially focused on simply growing my channel and growing my brand. That's why I'm getting more people on board. I'm getting people who are going to be editing videos for me. I'm getting people who are going to do like community posts for me. And all of these things is going to go on. And that's why the next 3 months, it's all in on the YouTube game. And what you can do in X Styles is you can decide your 3-month plan, like 3-month goal, and then divide that into the months that you have. So for me, this is going to be March, April, May. But if you're watching this channel, you are probably the ages of between like 16 and like 22. And when you are between ages 16 and like 22, what happens is it's not like you're living a lifestyle of pure, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You're probably not living like a lifestyle like that. You probably have responsibilities like school, like university, maybe like a part-time job, stuff like this. Thus, you need to be able to keep track of those things as well so that you are not behind in those things. And what I realized is if you're a uni student, the best time saver is when you are in the lecture, being there, not just physically, but mentally and taking notes as well. Why? When you don't learn in the lecture, but you are there physically, you are just wasting time, and you'll have to learn the material when you're back home for the second time, which means spending 2 times for one task, which is not ideal. Now, this feature of like class notes is going to be something that I'm going to be using much more from now on because of the fact that my university was in like a 1-month break, and now it's like starting back again. And what I really like about this is imagine that you can take all of your notes and it's going to be all in one place, and when you have to study for the exam that's coming up, everything is just going to be in one place, and boom, you have the date, the subject, the topic, the lecture plan, the questions. I think as I use this feature more often, my grades will increase as well because I've been more focused on the business side, which this semester is going to be a little changing. I'm going to show you guys more like the university stuff as well. Let me know if you're excited for that, you know? And this is the class notes that you can use in X Styles. Now, here is what sets apart X Styles from other apps. And the first one is going to be essentially the ease of use. Now, you guys probably don't know this because I don't really show this in front of the camera. A lot of my friends, as well as like my video editors, have called me like you're a technological dumbass. I'm like, yeah, that's correct. And thus, it took me like an hour or 2 to completely set up everything that I need to set up in X Styles. So you don't need to spend weeks, months, you know, trying out everything and like finding the functionality. No, you can give it like 1 to 2 hours and you'll set up your entire productivity system. And the second thing is going to be essentially flexibility that you can have in the app. I generally don't like using any apps that don't give me any flexibility. You know, I'm a different person and you're a different person, and the person who coded this app is also a different person, so we all have different needs and like wants. Thus, I want my personal productivity space to be fully flexible. Now, lastly, I truly believe that if you build yourself, it can be on your notebook as well, even, it doesn't really matter, an actual productivity system where it becomes your second brain, your life gets much less stressful because you're not going to forget tasks. You'll be able to make progress faster, and overall, life is going to be simple so you can make mentally progress in other areas that you want. Thanks so much for X Styles for sponsoring this video. And there's a link in the description where you can check out essentially X Styles and you can get my promo code, which is going to give you 25% off of your purchase. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.